I'm Sarah M. I am a co-host, and I'm from Cambodia. I grew up there, and then I got caught in a big disaster in Cambodia. When the Khmer Rouge communists took over our country, they basically destroyed our life, destroyed our country. And I struggled to survive. There are about 2 million people who did not make it. They die. And I'm so grateful that I'm here. So that all is matter, that God was so faithful that he saved my life. And I'm happy to be here. And to during this time, Lea and I, we decided to use our background, our strength that we survived to inspire and encourage our audience. That's what we are doing every day. So I'm just that's all I want to say. And I have my book. It's called How I Survived the Killing Fields. And now I'm going out in the community to share a message of hope and strength and resilience. So, so back to you, Lea.
Well, thank you, Sarah. Hello, everyone. Happy post Labor Day. Today is back to, it's almost like a starting off fall, right? Usually routine are coming back after the kids gone back to school. And I'm sure that lots of kids are either going back to school this week or already gone back to school. But today we are so fortunate to have Dr. Nall. Dr. Nall, I have heard her speak the first time a couple years ago at her TEDx talk. And I was just like, wow, this lady is phenomenal. So Dr. Nall is a mathematician, not a magician, but almost can be. And she has gone so many transition in her passion. So we're going to get to her later. That's what she's here. But who I am Lea Tran. I'm half of this partnership co-host. And my background is also from a refugee existence. Very humble background. My family came here 41 years ago as both people from Vietnam that we ran away from communists. And I also had a TEDx talk right a year after Dr. Nall's. So if you want to hear about my story, you can just go to my website, leatran.com. And I also courageously tell my story. Last year, I had my memoir out. It's called I Did Not Miss the Boat. So today we're talking about passion and purpose. So many of us have passion and have a purpose, but do we really understand what is our passion so we can pursue it? So make it a purpose in our life. So Dr. Nall's here as a friendly person. She's a friend, so I call her Katie sometimes. So it's okay for me to call you Katie?
That's my name.
It's a little formal when, you know, we want to honor her degrees, but Katie's a really great person to be friend with. So, so Katie, tell us a little bit about who's Dr. Katie Nall.
I am a Florida mathematician, as you mentioned, and I'm a master trainer of something called emotional freedom technique, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I am surprisingly married 48 years to the same guy, husband number one, and have 3 grown children. And I'm in awe of each of you and every refugee for what you have been through. I just, you know, when I think about my difficult days, I think about, you know, what you must have gone through, and I cannot imagine. I have so much respect and honor for what you've done.
Thank you so much. It is a journey that you didn't ask for. A lot of us go through a journey of hardship that none of us asked for, but we deal with it and we come out of it, and we come out of it sometimes very strong. So, so part of this show also, I want to make awareness that, you know, we are kind of dedicating this show for refugees in Malaysia that we are helping also. But we want to talk about, you know, you were mentioned earlier about what's the 2 word, emotional something?
Emotional freedom technique. It's also called
Right.
EFT or tapping.
Right.
Yes.
So refugees get a lot of anxiety and PTSD and lots of emotional gut triggers. But we don't have to be a refugee. I think that's everyone in daily life have those kind of triggers. You know, it can be something that when you were young, you get a traumatic experience. Even, you know, sometimes your parents get divorced. That's a traumatic experience. Somebody you love, your grandma died. You know, it's like so many things can trigger. So tell us a little bit more about emotionally freedom technique.
Very good. Emotional freedom technique, or EFT, was determined by, of all people, an electrical engineer. He'd been trained in Stanford University and wanted to find out ways to help people overcome anxiety. He visited a number of psychologists and psychiatrists who were finding that traditional cognitive behavior therapy, talk therapy, was not actually helping people as much as they would like to. And so they were doing research into traditional Chinese medicine, started looking into meridians, and then from meridians found that tapping on different areas of your body could access the organs where we're storing those feelings, right? And so he looked at it from an engineering perspective and he said, wow, I can see that if we tap on just certain areas of our body, we're going to hit like 98% of the meridians based on the intersections, and can relieve so many people. There are a number of tapping professionals around the world who do go into war zones and other places to help refugees and others, as you mentioned, with PTSD. It has been approved by the Veterans Administration here in America. The Gary Craig, the originator, has gone into the Veterans Administration and worked with Vietnam vets who've been hospitalized and drugged for 40 years. And the story goes that after a week of tapping, that these service people no longer have PTSD, no longer have a need for the medication, and have been released from the hospital.
Wouldn't that be a miracle? You don't have to take medication and heal, right? And I'm glad that you mentioned about the Chinese, that this was originally from Chinese. Now, if you are a Kung Fu watcher, people out there, movie, anything about Kung Fu, we love it. I love it. The part that sometimes they just touch you at a certain meridian, you can be froze.
Right.
And other part is, so that could be a little bit too elaborate. You know, sometimes I just like mesmerized when I watch that. But you think about acupuncture and things like they just, or even massages that they touch at a certain place, and that will bring healing to a certain part of your body.
Correct.
So this is a really cool thing, tapping, because you're tapping, like you said, at a certain meridian is one thing, but that's another term for it. I'm supposed.
Trigger point? Is that trigger point?
But yeah, right. So that certain point will actually lead to release, or even you know, heal your body. So how did you get into all of this? That gotta be a story.
Oh, Lea and Sara, this is funny. I'm a mature student, I'll put it that way. And I went back to
A wise student.
I went back to school in my 50s to earn my PhD. And I was working at a college at the time, and I had student after student lining up wanting to complete their degrees, but they had one course left to finish, and it was always math. And my response was, fabulous, you left the best for last. That was not their response. I wanted to help those students overcome their fear and anxiety about math and test taking. So as I was working on my dissertation, I did research on how do you alleviate fear and anxiety in math students. And Lea and Sara, I found, nothing. There's like nothing out there. And they said, they would say things like, oh, they need to get a tutor, or they would need to work with the teacher. And I'm dealing with students who are in my office. I can't even say the word math before they break out into a rash, or, you know, they have a physiological reaction. And I'm like, what is this? We're just talking about this word. So because I'm a mathematician and because I understand word problems, when I had the word problem of how do I alleviate fear and anxiety in math students, I realized the key part was how do you alleviate fear and anxiety? I dropped the math part, and that was in 2010. I actually happened to time it just right to be able to see all 10 days of Nick and Jessica Ortner's Tapping Summit. They have it every February. I suggest everybody go. And I watched all 10 days and I thought, whoa, this is super simple. They talked about how to get more money. They talked about how to take weight off. They talked about relationships. They did not talk about math or test anxiety. So I was like, I have no idea if this is going to work or not. Luckily, all the students that were coming through my office were desperate and would try anything. And I'm like, okay, would you try this?
That's so cool.
So
That's so cool.
we tried it, and the students were coming back and saying, I got an A in math. I mean, I don't know who is more surprised, them or me. I'm like, oh my gosh, this stuff must work. So I went back and I got training. I got trained in level 1, level 2, level 3, trauma, quantum. So we do some past life stuff. And now I'm a master trainer. Just for reference, while I was working full-time at the college, it took me 4 years to earn my Ph.D. While I was working 4 years at the college, it took me 8 years to become a master trainer in emotional freedom. So
wow, that's something to say for. It's not something anybody can just achieve without jumping through hoops.
there were a lot of hoops.
Wow, that's awesome. So now you are the master trainer. Dr. Nall, the master trainer. And all of this, no need to money to buy any tool. As long as you have 2 fingers, 3 fingers, you can do it.
Actually, you don't even need that. You can.
You don't even need fingers.
There are times.
You can use your knuckle.
No, yeah, you can do that, but yeah, you can't do your elbow. That doesn't work. But there are times when I'm having trouble going to sleep at night, and I lay my head on the pillow and I just imagine, okay, my hands are going here, and I just imagine where my hands are going. And that is usually sufficient, surprisingly.
Wow, the mind is powerful.
Isn't it? So would you like to experience it?
Oh my God, yes, please.
Okay, Lee, could you possibly think of something that's been frustrating you in the last few?
Oh my goodness, yeah, just a minute before.
Would you like to try it on that?
Yes.
Okay, so, and here's the cool part is I have clients who never tell me what it is that they're frustrated about, but they do tell me the emotion. So when you think about this interaction that you had recently, what emotion is coming up?
Anger.
Anger's good. And from the top of your head to the bottom of your toes, where is the anger in your body?
I think it's right in my chest.
In your chest, yeah. And from 0 to 10, where 0 is like, no worries, I'll take care of it later. And 10 is the most angry you've been. Where is it from 0 to 10?
Probably about 8.
8?
I want to explain, this is something I did not do and I got punished for. And that's why I felt unjust.
Okay. So are you more angry or more feeling unjust? Which one?
I think more of an unjust kind of anger.
Okay. And unjust.
Yeah, I felt like, that's not fair. That's not fair. The system is not fair.
Right.
So,
Okay. So more anger or unjust?
Unjust. Probably.
Unjust. Okay. So unjust. And when you think about being unjust, is that still in your chest?
Yeah.
Okay. And is this a true statement? Right here, right now, I feel safe.
Right now, I feel safe. Yeah, in
Okay.
my own home. Yes.
So everything we say, I'm going to ask you to repeat some words after me, and everything we say needs to be in your words. So if I say something and you go, I wouldn't say it that way, or I'd use different words, will you use your own words for me?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to tap on the spots first, and then we'll add words. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So using
Oh,
the
audience, if you have something issue, maybe you can follow along. This is fun.
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, Sarah, if you want to follow along, there's something called building benefits. And so you may borrowing benefits. So you may actually feel a energy release as well. And it actually is a great way to support Lea. So, so we're going to start on the side of the hand, and you can use either hand. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah. And you start on the side of the hand and you tap right there on the side of the hand. And we're not going to say any words right now. We're just going to think about how unjust we feel in our chest. Yeah. And next spot we're going to tap is on the top of the head, right on the crown of the head. And you can use one hand or the other, or you can do the monkey move or do both. It doesn't matter. And then the next spot, I'm warning you, I'm coming in for a close-up, okay? Okay, it's going to be on the edge of your eyebrow, right on the edge of your eyebrow. There you go, you got it, yeah. And just think about how unjust you feel in your chest, yeah. Our next spot, Lea and Sara, is on the side of your eye, right there, between your eye, the edge of your eye and your hairline. And then the next spot is where I keep all my bags in case I need to go quickly, and that's under my eyes, so. And then we're going to go above the lips, under the chin, under the nose, and then below the lips, above the chin. And then our next spot, we're going to cross our wrists and go right there on our collarbone. And then our last spot is about 4 inches under our arms. We're going to give our ribs a good thump. So give them a good thump. So those are the spots we're going to tap. Let's add some words, shall we? Okay, now Lea, remember you were at an 8 at feeling unjust in your chest. So let's start on the side of the hand and say, even though.
Even though.
I remember what happened just a little while ago.
I remember what happened just a little while ago.
I didn't do anything wrong.
I didn't do anything wrong.
And I feel so much unjust in my chest.
And I feel so much unjust in my chest.
Right here, right now, I feel safe.
Right here, right now, I feel safe.
We're going to repeat that sentence, a version of it 2 more times. Even though I have so much unjust in my chest.
I have so much unjust in my chest.
When I think about what happened.
When I think about what happened.
Right here, right now, I feel safe.
Right here, right now, I feel safe.
Even though my chest is full of unjust.
I'm sorry.
My chest
was full of unjust.
When I think about what happened.
When I think about what happened.
Right here, right now, I feel safe.
Right here, right now, I feel safe.
And then top of your head, you tap and say, feeling unjust in my chest.
Feeling unjust on my chest.
There you go. Edge of your eyebrow, right above your eye. Feeling unjust in my chest.
Feeling unjust on my chest.
Side of the eye. Feeling unjust in my chest.
Feeling unjust on my chest.
Under the eye. Feeling unjust in my chest.
Feeling unjust in my chest.
Under the nose. Feeling unjust in my chest.
Feeling unjust in my chest.
Under the lips. Feeling unjust in my chest.
Feeling unjust in my chest.
Across your wrists. Feeling unjust in my chest.
Feeling unjust in my chest.
Bump your ribs. Feeling unjust in my chest.
Feeling unjust on my chest.
Blow all your air out. There you go. So Lea, when you think about what happened earlier and how you didn't do anything, from 0 to 10, how unjust does it feel now?
Maybe about 3.
Now, what happens is you can do this 2 more times. This is called a round, and it will go away completely. Now, what happens when this goes away? Actually, reducing the stress hormones will increase, first of all, number 1, increase your immune system. Do you think that's important in today's world? Number 2, you'll be able to think clearer. They've actually done research all over the world, and they found that your positive hormones will be released, your cortisol, your oxytocin. will be released. So positive hormones are actually going to be released. So there will be a physiological result. And for that reason, they say to double your intake of water afterwards, so that it kind of solidifies in your brain. They have done clinical studies throughout the world for the last 50 years on this. And in doing that, they have found that compared to cognitive behavior therapy and something called EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization, and EFT, that among the three of those, the EMDR and EFT is way more effective. Now, the difference is with EMDR, you got to be sitting right in front of the therapist in case you have an adverse reaction. With EFT, you might work with a mathematician and feel better.
I know one. So that is really cool. I think you just kind of hit on those nerves and kind of acknowledge yourself and calm those nerves.
Well, if you think about the word
What do you
emotion,
feel, Sarah?
Hmm?
What do you feel? Do you
I-
feel anything different?
Well, I didn't feel any anxiety before we do
Yeah,
this.
so it
So
doesn't,
I
yeah.
just do this to support you. So I hope, I hope that what I
I
do,
get the energy. I feel
Yeah.
the energy.
right,
That is really cool. I mean, especially it costs you nothing to
Right.
do it, right?
right. And it's effective. So it's non-invasive, not
Right.
addictive, self-controlled, and as you learn it. Now, I will tell you that there are times when you need to be with a certified practitioner. I've had clients, for instance, I had one client who was having panic attacks at the beginning of COVID and could not get into adjustment. And so she hired me and we did 3 1-hour sessions to kind of, so that she could think clearer. I've had clients who were trying to prepare for tests. I had one student who took the SAT standardized test and did very well. She could have gotten into the college of her choice, but she just knew she could do better. So she registered and paid for the second time, studied and studied and studied, took it a second time, her scores went down. She said, I know I can do this. So she registered and paid for a third time. She was a senior in high school. Life got busy. It was a week before the test. She panicked. Her mom hired me and I worked with her on a Monday, a Wednesday, and a Friday for 1 hour each day. She took it on that Saturday and her score went up 90 points.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So, so tell us more. Are you still teaching math, or this is what you do now to help people calm their nerves? And I hope I just love that side effect.
So the answer is yes. I facilitate a mastermind. Our next mastermind is starting on September 17th. We will be doing tapping while we were going through the 8 different areas of our lives. I also do tapping. I teach tapping and clients, and I do something called tutoring in tapping. My last group was a group from Harvard. They were in their graduate level statistics class, and one of my graduate degrees is in statistics. And we did a group session where I answered statistics questions, tutored them in it, and we also tapped. I'm a firm believer that everybody has the capability of learning math, that once we can release the fear, the anxiety, and the negative emotions, that we can think and we can learn math.
Right. That is just so awesome. Now you're expanding and then you helping people to, I think the world need a little more calmer people, because I mean, every day, just don't turn on the news. If you want to turn on the news and listen to the news, tapping at the same time while you're listening, I probably think that would be a better place to do it.
Absolutely.
I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
If somebody want to improve their immunity,
Yes.
is it possible to use the tapping?
Tapping reduces and eliminates stress. Stress increases your, let me say it the other way. Stress decreases your immune system.
Okay.
So if you can get rid of stress, you will therefore be
Yeah.
increasing your immune system. I actually had a client this afternoon who's been diagnosed with COVID. And yeah, so we worked on that. I've had I've had clients who were cancer patients, and to help them relieve the stress. Now, interestingly enough, the clients I've had who are cancer patients, they kind of knew something was going on. So they didn't have as much stress as the family members around the cancer patient. And so I do work with families of cancer patients to have them reduce their stress, because sometimes they don't have a clue of what's going on, and their stress
Yeah.
level is sometimes higher than the cancer patient.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people know stress is the #1 cause of everything.
Right.
Anxiety, GI problem, high blood pressure, not able to sleep, and there's on and on and on and on. So if you can target the stress level down, then you can smile a little more often, and then you'll be protected with the immune system, because there's nothing to worry about.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, it affects high blood pressure, and for both employers and employees, it has a negative effect on the workplace as well.
And a better relationship with the people around you too. So
Right.
it's less snappy.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So beside that, tell us a little more of what your future plan, your something immediate. I thought you have a book coming out or something too. Am I right?
Yeah, I have a number of books. The book that I have right now at the Illustrators is a tapping book for children, that has like a little sing song for them to do.
Oh,
Yeah. And the mastermind's the biggest thing. I've been doing these masterminds for over a year now. They're growth and prosperity masterminds. And we are expanding it so that it's going to cover 8 different areas of our lives. It's going to cover our function, what we do during the day, our foundation, our continuing education, our family relationships, our friends, finance, fitness. They'll have an opportunity, if they want, to join either a 3-day or a 9-day cleanse. We will have Qigong instructions in there. And we will also have faith. We're going to be talking about faith and intuition and fun. I have a handwriting expert who will be presenting. I did not realize, but you can change your personality and characteristics through changing your strokes that you make in handwriting.
yeah, that's really, really cool, because change for the better. Why not?
Yeah. A lot of good stuff.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us, and especially for walking me through the little exercise that I had with you a little earlier. And I think that we all can benefit from something that is non-invasive. It doesn't cost any money. There's the only side effect that you have is stress-free and more smile and more pleasant. So something's easy to do. So if people want to find you, where is the best place to find you, Dr. Nall?
So I always do a play on words. My last name is Nall, N-A-L-L. So my website is the word of my last name, followed by the word edge, E-D-G-E, and co.com. So it's knowledgecompany.com, NALLEDGECO.com. They can always email me at hello@drnall.com, and would love to hear from your audience.
Well, thank you so much. And I hope this episode will benefit from people who are on the edge all the time, jiggling, and it's like, maybe just check it out to see if that something would help you, or connect with Dr. Nall. If you have any question, I'm sure she'll be more than generous to answer whatever question you have. Anything to add, Sarah, before we close out?
I just thought of another group that may benefit big time, the PTSD people, that they suffer and they need some solution. So this this technique might help them, don't they?
Absolutely, Sarah. In fact, the VA hospital has approved this for PTSD service personnel. Mhm.
Mm,
And it is used a lot with PTSD because, you know, the people who have PTSD are one set, but it's the people who live with those who have PTSD and suffer from that as well.
And I think PTSD, a lot of time people don't talk about it. They just hide under the rug. They just kind of sweep it away. And I think first thing is just, you know, talk it out and seek help.
And it's not just service people, the healthcare workers that are working right now, and the EMT, the emergency workers, fire, all of them from time to time may be exposed to and may be diagnosed with PTSD as well.
Right, right. Well, thank you so much again for sharing your knowledge with us and sharing your technique, and definitely check Dr. Nall's website and also connect with her. Have a great evening, everyone, and we hope you had a great Labor Day weekend, which is why we are off yesterday, and we will see you again on Thursday.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Sarah.
Hang around, hang around.